Chairs No Waiting, episode number 274, News of Cast and Crew, the eBullet March 2014. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the fine folks over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Drop by Weavers and check out some of the great t-shirts, DVDs, thermometers, sweatshirts, games, neckties. I could go on and on. All kinds of Mayberry things there, including the DVDs of every season of the Andy Griffith Show. Head over to weaversdepartmentstore.com and check it out. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners just like you. The executive producer of Two Chairs No Waiting, number 274, is Jim Clark. Hello, everybody. My name is Alan Newsom. I'm your host for Two Chairs No Waiting, and it is always a pleasure to spend some time with you right here in Mayberry. This episode, we're going to be going in and having a little bit of fun by finding out what was in the eBullet for March 2014. Now, we're not going to go through everything in there, so I'm going to give you a link so that you can go and read everything that's in the eBullet, because Jim Clark, our presiding goober for the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club, does an amazing job putting together all this wonderful information in the eBullet. The eBullet, if you don't know, is the official newsletter of the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club, and it's been around for years. Before that, it was the Bullet, which was a paper version of this same type newsletter. So all this information, Jim has been working for many years to go through and gather interesting tidbits, bits of information about cast and crew and chapters and events going on in one form or another on a newsletter for many years. And we just thank him so much, not only for putting together those newsletters, but for allowing me here on Two Chairs No Waiting to share a little bit of his hard work with you and encourage you to go over and sign up and get a subscription. So it's free. It's all free. It's all online and for free. You can have it emailed directly to you, or you can drop by the website you can go to TAGSRWC.com/the_bullet and go straight to it. Or you can just go over to imayberry.com. And when you go there, you'll usually see right there toward the top, it'll say eBullet. You just click it and it'll take you straight to the newsletter. So thanks again to Jim, and hopefully that's something that you may not have known, or you've forgotten, or you've just been, haven't had the time to go and do it. I'm avoiding saying lazy or anything. You've just been forgetful and not had time to go over and check out the eBullet. So because the eBullet's coming out tomorrow, actually, we're getting a little preview as I record this. So as the episode is actually released for everybody, it'll be on Tuesday, March 18th, and that will be the day the eBullet actually comes out. So hopefully you'll head on over and check out everything in it. So let's get to work on this version of the eBullet. So here we are, the eBullet. This is the March 2014 issue, and guess what, guys? This is the issue that is, it's special because it is finally springtime. And what can we have except for this? And it says, welcome to the second issue of the eBullet for 2014. And all we can say is, welcome, sweet springtime. So, of course, the actual eBullet can't have the music, but I knew here on the podcast we needed it. It says, we greet thee in song indeed, and fortunately, with the arrival of spring, there's a lot of events and upcoming Mayberry happenings to cover. So let's get right to it. So, again, Jim does an absolutely amazing job putting together this newsletter. Now, what we're going to talk about mostly, we're going to hit some highlights here from the event calendar, from the Floyd's Barbershop Bulletin Board is what it's called, the event calendar. And we're going to hit a few highlights from that. But there are so many events in there that we just cannot cover them all. So let's head through and look at a few of them. Now, every week, every month up at the Andy Griffith Museum, they have Betty Lynn, Thelma Lou. She appears up there at the museum for signing autographs. So she'll have 8x10 photographs that are available for $10 that you can have her sign, and those are always a pleasure to get. So that's almost every month. So I want you to check the event calendar. If you go to Mayberry, imayberry.com and click on the calendar link that you'll see right there, you'll be able to keep up with exactly when the events that Betty are going to appear at for the museum. You'll be able to choose those and see when they're going to be and head up to Mount Airy. That's a monthly thing, and you'll be able to find it in the event calendar. There's events coming up with Karen Knotts. There's all kinds of events coming up, but I want to name just a few of them because these are going to be some special events. There's one coming up in May that I think you're going to be very excited about. It's called Mayberry Comes to Westminster. Mayberry Comes to Westminster. Now, we got a voicemail, so I'm not going to just read this to you because we got a voicemail from the organizer himself. So let's hear what Tom has to say about this event. So, Tom, go ahead and let us know about this event.
Hello, fellow Mayberians. Carolina Tom here in Westminster, South Carolina. Excited about our 4th annual event coming up May 2nd and 3rd. All the tribute artists will be back, all your Mayberry friends. Music venues, concerts, parades, silent auction, car and tractor show, all kinds of great events for you Mayberry fans. Westminster, South Carolina is located in the northwest corner of South Carolina, just 50 miles west of Greenville. Our special guest this year and our official host is Karen Knotts, daughter of Don Knotts. And twice during the weekend, Karen will be doing her program, Not Knotts, Who's There? Getting to know the man behind Barney Fife. And returning for his 3rd visit is Rodney Dillard and the Dillard Band, along with his wife Beverly, presenting their Mayberry Memories concert at the Westminster Music Hall on Saturday afternoon. For complete schedule and ticket information, go to MayberryWestminster.com. We'll be looking for you May 2nd and 3rd as Mayberry comes back to Westminster. Goober says, hey.
Hey to Goober. All right, folks, so there it is, May 2nd and 3rd, 2014. It'll be the 4th annual Mayberry Comes to Westminster Festival. Try to make plans to be there. It'll be a lot of fun. We're going to have Karen Knotts, Don Knotts' daughter. She's going to be doing her shows, as he said, and Rodney Dillard. Yeah, folks, this is going to be a lot of fun. A bunch of the tribute artists will be there. The Mayberry Deputy, Floyd the Barber. Of course, that's me. I shouldn't toot my own horn, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Otis will be there. I think Gomer may be there. Colonel Harvey's probably even going to be there. And I know Ernest T., he's always lurking around somewhere. Folks, it ought to be a great time, so make plans to be there. Now, there's another really big event coming up that same month, and it's the May 17th and 18th. Now, this is Mayberry in the Midwest. So if you're not near the South Carolina area, make plans to be at Mayberry in the Midwest in Danville, Indiana. Now, stars confirmed so far are Maggie Peterson, Charlene, and Rodney Dillard, one of the Darling boys that played the guitar, that one. And the Dillard Band, they'll be there, and a full slate of Mayberry tribute artists. So the events include pancake breakfast, there's concerts, there's Opie's Soapbox Derby race. That ought to be a lot of fun. And they're also going to have the Mayberry Squad Car National. So if you have a Mayberry Squad Car replica and you want to enter the Mayberry Squad Car Nationals, there's a number you can contact. So head over to the event calendar at imayberry.com and find out all the information about contacting them, because this ought to be a lot of fun. Now, if you don't know what the Mayberry Squad Car Nationals is, they've had them, I don't know what number this one would be, but basically they have the old Mayberry squad cars, and they have a obstacle course race. You have a driver and a passenger, and they race through this obstacle course. The driver never leaves the car for safety reasons, but the passenger has to jump out and do things like hang the old stop sign up, jump back in, go down and buy some ice cream for Thelma Lou to take over to her house. Has to jump in, go deliver it to Thelma Lou. They have to bury the incant for divorce. You know, the divorce thing, the proceedings. They have to bury them in the ground. Have to dig a shovel and put some. Anyway, it's just all kinds of things. It's all timed, and then in the end, the winner has the best time of the event. It's just a lot of fun. We have a great time doing it. So those are just a few of the upcoming events. Now, there's a lot of other things coming up later in the year that you're going to want to check out. Of course, Mayberry Days is always the big, huge treat that we want to be at, but there's a lot of things before that. So go check out the calendar. Once again, want to check it out. But there's in August, 22nd and 3rd, Rodney and Maggie will again be in North Carolina doing the event for DARE in Oakboro, North Carolina. So we'll be talking more about that as that event gets closer. And definitely want to talk about the life lessons from Mayberry. There's a Bible study series in September 21st and 21st through the 24th, right before Mayberry Days, which starts the 25th. And so you could go to both if you want to make a long weekend out of it. And Mayberry Days, we already know we're going to have Betty Lynn will be there, Rodney Dillard's going to be there, James Best, Karen Knotts, the Mayberry deputy will be there. We got Michael Hoover. And this year is a new thing they're going to have there is James Gregory. He's the funniest man in America. He's going to be there doing some stuff. And finally, I want to mention the Mayberry Cruise, the Cruise to Mayberry. This is the 9th year of that. It's going to come up November 1st through the 6th. So make plans to go on that. If you haven't gone on one of the Mayberry cruises, they really are amazingly fun. And I can't tell you how much fun I've had going on those cruises. So I definitely want you to consider going and just try it out, because I'm pretty sure you're going to have a great time doing it. Now, let's get into the news of cast and crew, because that's what the main part of this is. And so we can take a little snapshot of what was happening around Mayberry in March 2014. So let's start off. Ron Howard is well into editing and other post-production work for his film In the Heart of the Sea, the story of the Essex. Wow, a 19th century whaling ship. Yeah, get a little background music to make it sound better. The film is currently set for release March 2015, so in a year. Got a little bit of time left. Ron is executive producer for Unsung Heroes, a story of America's female patriots, a documentary scheduled to air on PBS in May. There's a link in the eBullet to let you go and watch a little trailer for it. Ron's also set to direct a film titled Mina, about a notorious 1980s pilot and cocaine smuggler and a CIA informant, Barry Seal, who was based in Mena, Arkansas. And Ron is in talks with Warner Brothers to direct and produce a live-action version of The Jungle Book. You know, Disney's also in looking at a live-action Jungle Books project. So the race is on. Speaking of races, Rush, Ron's most recent release as a director, was nominated for 2 Golden Globes, including Best Motion Picture Drama. And it was nominated for 4 British Academy of Film and Television Arts Awards, including Best British Film. Ron was in London the weekend of February 16th for the BAFTA Awards show. Rush was honored with the award for Best Editing. Wow, that's awesome. Amid editing in the heart of the sea, Ron made time in New York for some sightseeing, including the Statue of Liberty and a gala fundraiser for the Art Production Fund. Ron's brother Clint Leon, he has several roles in indie films in various stages of production, and some about to be released, and one filming right now. He was also in an episode of Hawaii Five-0 that aired in November. Leroy Mac McNeese has performed and shared his faith with audiences and congregations at events and services this winter, including a couple in Alabama in January. He and his wife Jan are in Guatemala this week for a music festival. In addition to her monthly autograph sessions at the Andy Griffith Museum, Betty Lynn also enjoyed visiting with Maggie Peterson and Ronnie Shell during their trip to Mount Airy to perform love letters on Valentine's Day. Despite a big snowstorm that week, there was a nice audience for the performance of the 2 First play by these Mayberry favorites. Betty herself, she performed this popular play with Howard Morris for the Surrey Arts Council on the same Mount Airy stage back in 2002. And Betty was also the belle of the Surrey Arts Council annual Arts Ball in March. She does much year-round support to support the arts programs in her community. She sure does. It seems to be the season for theater openings around Mayberry. Maggie Peterson and Ronnie Shell did Love Letters in February. Ace Tags writer Sam Brobrick, his new play called L.A. Deli opens this week in Los Angeles. And James Best and his wife Dorothy have just wrapped up a run of On Golden Pine at the Hickory Community Center in Hickory, North Carolina. Morgantown, West Virginia, the hometown of Don Knotts, is picking up steam again in its efforts to pay tribute to Don with a memorial sculpture and garden. After Don's death in 2006, the city, friends, family, and fans raised a good bit of the $50,000 needed to complete the sculpture by West Virginia sculptor Jamie Lester. The Rerun Watchers Club helped with that initial effort through fundraisers at our Weaver's Department Store and in direct donations by our members and others to the Don Knotts Statue Foundation. Morgantown organizers put the fundraising on the back burner as other community financial needs were being addressed during the recent economic recession. Along the way, there were occasional fundraisers, including a major one with Karen Knotts and her Tied Up in Knots show that she performed in Morgantown. The Don Knotts Statue Fund, which was formerly the Don Knotts Legacy Fund, is now within about $10,000 of its $50,000 goal. The plan for the statue is to be the plan is for the statue to be a centerpiece of the Don Knotts Sculpture Garden located near Don Knotts Boulevard, which is near the river that runs through Morgantown. Francie Knotts, Don's widow, the Knotts family, they have all given their blessing to the current statue design and garden plan. We haven't heard any mention of a duck pond being included in the design, but you just never know. It's possible that the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club may come up with new fundraisers designated for the statue fund, but right now we're stretched just to cover our ongoing commitments to Mayberry Days and some of the other Mayberry events and charities that we're trying to support. So for anyone interested in helping with the statue effort, sending a direct donation is probably the most immediate and helpful route. And checks should be sent to, and this is in the eBullet, but I'm going to go ahead and read it to you, the Don Knotts Statue Fund in care of your community foundation, and it's at 111 High Street, Morgantown, West Virginia, 26505. If you didn't get that, you can check out the eBullet or just rewind the podcast a little bit and write it down. Let's keep going. Let's hope it won't be long until there's a beautiful tribute to Don Knotts in his hometown, one that can be enjoyed by residents and visitors for many years to come. Well, folks, we're sad to report the passing of Ben Starr. Ben Starr was the writer of Look Pa, I'm Dancing, episode number 181. And so he just recently passed away of congestive heart failure at his home in Los Angeles. He was 92 years old. He was very successful. He was born Benjamin Starr to Russian parents in Brooklyn, New York, in October 18th, 1921. He graduated City College in New York before transferring to and graduating from UCLA after serving in World War II. He got into show business. He got his start on the radio writing for Al Jolson, George Burns, and Martin and Lewis. Two of his earliest jobs in TV were for I Married Joan and Duffy's Tavern in the early 50s. He went on to write for a wide range of TV shows, everything from Perry Mason to Mr. Ed, for which he wrote more than 36 episodes. Most of his writing was for comedies, including My Favorite Martian, Petticoat Junction, The Brady Bunch, and All in the Family. Ben wrote more than 24 episodes of the hit sitcom Different Strokes in the late 70s and early 80s, and he went on to co-create popular 80s sitcom Silver Spoons. He also developed the Facts of Life TV series. He was married to the former Gloria June Kaplan for 50 years until her passing in 1999. They had 3 children. One of the truly jolly people of show business, Ben Starr enjoyed a full life. In keeping with the story he wrote for Opie, he clearly loved life's dance. So, yeah, thanks. I'm glad we were able to just talk about him a little bit. We also note the passing of Richard Dick Bull, who played Mr. Jackson, the school teacher who introduces football star Flip Conroy to Opie and his fellow football players. In Opie's Piano Lesson, that's episode number 215, he passed away of natural causes on February 3rd after being hospitalized for pneumonia at the Motion Picture and Television Funds Hospital in Los Angeles. He was 89 years old. And it's with great sadness that we learned of the passing of wonderful Mayberry guest star Mary Grace Canfield. Thelma Lou's cousin, Mary Grace Gossage, from A Date for Gomer, episode number 104. Mary Grace passed away of lung cancer on February 15th in Santa Barbara, California, and she was 89 years old. Mary Grace is best known for playing handy person Ralph Monroe, sibling of Alf Monroe, played by fellow TAG star Sid Melton, on 6 seasons of Green Acres. She also had a memorable role as the upstairs maid in Pollyanna in 1960, and the school teacher in Disney's Something Wicked This Way Comes in 1983. Along the way, in a TV and film career spanning 40 years, she played Amanda Allison in The Hathaways and Harriet Kravitz in 4 episodes of Bewitched. She was also a regular for a time on General Hospital and made numerous guest appearances on top TV shows. Born in Rochester, New York on September 4th, 1924, Mary Grace knew from an early age that she wanted to be an actor. After theater training in Pennsylvania, she performed in half a dozen productions on and off Broadway before moving to California to pursue a career in film. She also continued to perform in plays in California and occasionally elsewhere. When she was still in New York, she had performed in early productions for TV, including the popular Mr. Peepers, starring Wally Cox. 2 writers on that classic show were Jim Fritzell and Everett Greenbaum. Years later, when the legendary writers were working on A Date for Gomer, they wrote with Mary Grace Canfield in mind and reinforced their inspiration by naming her character Mary Grace Gossage. She became one of Mayberry's most memorable and endearing visitors. When Mary Grace semi-retired from acting in the 1980s, she moved back to Maine. She moved back to California a few years ago for health reasons. She appeared in a couple of Mayberry reunion events over the years, and she delighted fans each time. Being used to people recognizing her mostly because of her portrayal of Ralph Monroe, she was surprised that her one episode as Mary Grace also had many avid admirers. She enjoyed that very much and stayed up on the goings-on in Mayberry world throughout the years. Mary Grace was married to Charles Carey from 1950 to 1955 and to John Biscoff from 1989 until her passing. She is also survived by her daughters Allison and Phoebe and 3 grandsons. We're indeed fortunate that Mary Grace Canfield adorned Mayberry with her beloved performance of Mary Grace Gossage. Gomer's enthusiasm was correct. She's nice. Oh, I got to tell you, Mary Grace was such a wonderful lady. I got to meet her in Birmingham, and it was very nice sitting around and speaking with her. And I think I've told this before on here. She actually mentioned that she almost didn't take the role of Mary Grace Gossage because she said, I'm not a dog. Oh, she didn't think she was not pretty. So, and she wasn't. She was a super nice lady. And if not, but she said she almost turned down the role because, they kept acting like she wasn't very pretty. Anyway, she was very sweet, and it was great to meet her. Oh, folks, there's just so much going on in and around the world of Mayberry. You are not alone. There's a lot of stuff out there. And just to keep your heads up, for Weaver's department store, I just want to make sure that you realize that there is a new Mayberry RFD. They are going to be coming out on DVD in just the next several months here. So go ahead and head over to Weaver's and you can pre-order Mayberry RFD, the first season, on DVD. So head over there and check it out. Don't miss out. Hey, that kind of rhymed, didn't it? Oh, so I think that's about all I'm going to try to read to you through this. There's a lot of stuff over at the Bullet, and I want to make sure you head over to the eBullet and check it out. So don't forget to do that, and we'll have links in the show notes because there's pictures, there's all kinds of amazing things about the chapters and things going on around Mayberry, even on the web, which hopefully you know about if you're listening to the podcast, because we have the Mayberry community. We also have these podcasts, Two Chairs No Waiting, that you're listening to right now. Burke on Mayberry, also found at the Two Chairs No Waiting website. If you just click on the links toward the top of the page, you'll see them. And we also have the Mayberry Bible Study podcast, all kinds of stuff. So if you head over to twocairsnowaiting.com, when you get there, if you look at the top, you'll see a listing of all the episodes, the live link, and Burke on Mayberry, Mayberry Bible Study, and Two Chairs. And if you click on the community, it'll take you to the Mayberry community. So, folks, hey, I want to thank you for taking some time to spend right here in Mayberry with me. And I hope you're fired up about all the things that are coming up in Mayberry. Head over to the eBullet. Check it out. Plan to go to something. I know you're going to really enjoy it because I got to tell you, the Mayberry people are some of the greatest people in the world, and I know you're going to enjoy just spending time with them like I do. So, folks, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me about the events you go to. Tell me about some of the Mayberry things happening in your life. I want to thank Tom for calling in and leaving a note about the stuff going on. You can call me at 888-684-8415, or you can email me at floyd@imayberry.com, or you can drop by our website over at twocairsnowaiting.com. Leave a message there, or even you can head over to our Facebook page and check out the stuff there. Leave comments. However you'd like to get back with me, I would love to hear from you. And until next time, when we meet here in Mayberry, have a great week. See you next time.